structures on the ocean floor exert a gravitational pull on the water above them, causing changes in the surface. A volcanic mountain, for example, is made of dense rock, so it pulls more water toward it, creating one of those bumps on the surface. The scientists used sophisticated computer processing to convert the measurements of surface elevation into a map of the ocean floor. It's the most complete and detailed map to date, offering new views of the 80% of the ocean floor that hasn't been charted by ships. The map reveals thousands of previously unseen mountains known as seamounts. It also found evidence of a region in the Gulf of Mexico where new crust was formed 150 million years ago, plus a younger volcanic ridge off the coast of Africa. The map will help geologists better understand the slow drift of the plates that make up Earth's crust and give all of us a rare view of the bottom of the sea. Science in the Sea is a production of the University of Texas Marine Science Institute and is on the web at scienceinthesea.org. I'm Holly Brawley.
Hi, this is Steve Sanchez, and you hear me every weekend on my show talk about the importance of a financial plan, planning for your retirement, planning for your children's college education fund. Unfortunately, most people don't realize that they need to set up a foundation before any good financial plan can come into place. That's where life insurance comes in. Now, most people think life insurance is just an expense, but it's not. It can be a way of life, a standard of living when someone, the breadwinner, is literally removed out of the picture because of a premature death. Look, I believe in it. I've got life insurance for my family, and I want you to find out how easy it is to get life insurance and even qualify through some new non-medical life insurance policies. Look, my friends at eFinancial can help you do this. They're standing by to give you your free life insurance quote today. Call 866-807-9961. 807-9961 for your free life insurance quote today. And don't forget to tell them Steve sent you.
For those of you traveling by air to celebrate this holiday season, LA Ontario International Airport wants you and your family to have a fun and safe trip. For your convenience,
remember TSA travel rules are for your safety and those of others. LA Ontario International Airport reminds you to arrive early and check with your airlines for flight delays or cancellations.
ONT offers 62 daily flights to 15 nonstop western cities. This year, Santa brings your airport the Pause Pet Assisting with Smiles stress relief program. So, make sure to stop and pause a while, then sit back, relax, and enjoy your flight. For more airport information, please visit us at lawa.org.
It's time for some Dillylicious food at Pizza Dilly. Pizza Dilly Pizza in Colton, home of the famous 2-foot pizza with 32 slices of simply the best Dillylicious Pizza Dilly mouth-watering pizza. Pizza Dilly has all kinds of lunch specials Monday through Friday, starting at $3.99. All Dillylicious. So stop by, refresh, refuel, have a cold drink, and enjoy a tasty salad or our great specialty Dillylicious sub sandwich or our simply Dilly Lightful Pizza Dilly Wings. Pizza Dilly is also People Dilly because your friends are all over there enjoying one of Pizza Dilly's giant screens, watching one of their favorite teams. And if you love the Dodgers, you will love Pizza Dilly, your hometown Dodger station all year round. So come on in, enjoy a great pizza, and enjoy Pizza Dilly, the real Dilly deal at 194 East Valley Boulevard in Colton, or call 909-370-0242. 909-370-0242.
What have I learned so far? I've learned that there is no one path right for everyone. I've learned that without my high school diploma, I can only do so much. My options were limited. I found a free personalized learning program with Learn for Life that has a flexible schedule so I could keep my job while earning my high school diploma. I found new career training opportunities that would jumpstart my future. What have I learned so far? I've learned that I can change my life.
Are you 14 to 19 years old and looking for a free high school diploma program with flexible meeting times? This program allows you to keep your job or important family responsibilities while earning your high school diploma. If you've fallen behind on credits or dropped out of school completely, get back on track with free tutoring, a caring faculty, and one-on-one attention. For more information on how to reach your graduation goal, visit learnforlife.org. That's LEARN, the number 4, LIFE.org. Or enroll today by calling 877-360-LEARN. That's 877-360-LEARN.
The other station claims to be local. Since when is Glendale local? KCAA, your true local station.
Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
Take a walk on the wild side. Will the birds and the bees survive? Right before me, my newfound hippie side. Once ignored these conspiracies online. Out the window, visions of the earth. Sign me up now, make sure you use your smart. Take a walk on the wild side. Will the birds and the bees survive? Would your children ride to see Mother Nature's side?
Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
Welcome, everyone, to Smart Health Talk radio show right here on KCAA. And KCAA is not just an AM station anymore. We're AM FM broadcasting simultaneously right on 106.5 FM or 1050 AM. And of course, if you'd like, you can watch our show on Ustream by just going to kcaaradio.com and clicking on the Ustream tab at the top left-hand corner. You can also just listen on TuneIn as well. Just search for KCAA, and you could be listening to our show right now on your cell phone. And of course, after the show, our podcasts go up. We're under Tuesdays, 7 o'clock p.m., Smart Health Talk. Host Elaine McFadden, that's me, of course. And I'm a registered dietitian with a master's in public health and more years than I want to admit experience with organic food, and not just organic food, but all kinds of food, and comparing the different kinds, and doing a lot of research, talking to some of the smartest people in the country, our top scientists, and asking them questions just to make sure that I have it all right when I say organic is the absolute best food that we can be putting in our body. And we're going to be talking today about a lot of reasons why you want to make those choices. I want to go over some things in the news, and we got some really great stories for you today. I think you're going to enjoy what we're going to be talking about. I was hoping to have Oceana on as part of our broadcast today. They're a very important nonprofit, and a lot of the nonprofits I'm going to be talking about today are extremely important. These are groups that are fighting for us, to protect us and our health and the health of our children and our children's children. So many of us, we get so caught up in our daily lives, we don't realize that we have to be fighting a fight right now, that our food system is being taken over by big corporations that have more money than anyone has ever had before, and they're using that money to just keep getting more and more power, buying up more companies, trying to control the food that's on the shelf at the grocery store, the food that we're eating in all different kinds of ways. You know, they're not just manipulating us with commercials on television, but they're manipulating what seeds are being sold to farmers, what seeds are available to be sold to farmers. A lot of people don't realize that, like, last year was the first time that it was like 100% of the sugar beet seeds sold to farmers were GMO. And that's because Monsanto bought up all the seed companies. And they said, we're not going to sell any seeds, but our seeds, that we have our DNA in them, and the farmers are going to have to pay premium price. And what they like to do is get farmers hooked on their product. Then they start jacking up the price. And not just that, I mean, we're being manipulated. That's all. We're being manipulated in so many different ways. And if you don't like being manipulated, you're going to want to stick through our entire show today, because I'm going to be talking about lots of ways that they're tricking us, manipulating us into supporting their companies, buying their products, even when all of the information out there is telling us, no, 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 do not buy that because it's so bad for you. And we have skyrocketing diabetes, cancer, heart disease. Heart disease is our number one killer. So many people don't realize that. And when you look at how much money is donated to diseases that are killing us, it's like, you know, heart disease isn't even getting the largest share of the money. Cancer is getting the largest share of the money. But heart disease is actually our number one killer. And of course, I work really hard for you guys too, because that's my job. My job is to protect you and your health. I want you to live a happy, healthy life, because when you're sick, it's really hard to have all those things. Being sick changes your life in so many different ways. You just think about what it was like, you know, to have the flu, or to have be sore and have pain. Like, I'm kind of going through a little bit of soreness right now. I'm kind of proud of myself. I've been getting back into my workout and jogging and doing my Pilates, lifting my weights. And there's a period of soreness there, but you know, I kind of like being sore because it tells me I'm doing something good for my body and I'm alive. And this kind of soreness is okay. But when you got permanent back pain, your joints are going out, you know, you just are in constant pain. People get migraines really bad. All of these things can be traced back. I can't say all of them. Of course, genetics and environment are involved as well. But when you look at the percentage of diseases that can be impacted by diet and physical activity, it is a very large percentage. And that means these are things that we control. We control what foods we eat. We control whether we get our booty out there and start working out a little bit. And I'm not talking you got to go down and do like a 2-hour workout at the gym. You know, just a walk, a small walk even, 10, 15 minutes. And you don't have to do a whole workout like a straight hour or 2 hours. You can do small increments throughout the day. You get a break, you know, go for a little walk. You know, you start getting tired, go for a little walk, and you're going to be revitalized. You're going to start feeling much better. And at first, it may make you a little bit more tired, but that's your body building muscle so you can be stronger. And I want people to feel that. I want them to feel good about themselves. I want them to have energy. I want them out there living life, not being sick and in pain. Okay, so how are we going to accomplish all those things? What's going on? How are we being manipulated? We're going to be talking about all those things today, and along with that, I have some really great stories for you guys. So I'm actually here looking at my Smart Health Talk homepage. I spent quite a few hours trying to get some new things on our website for you guys. And one of the first things I have on my homepage here is our interview that we had last week with the American Cancer Society. And when you look at our top killers, cancer is definitely up there. And the thing is, it's up there like no other time in history. I'm telling you that the amount of people that have cancer now, it's just skyrocketing. Now, why is that? Do you think it's because the food that we're eating is protecting us from cancer? Or is it giving us cancer? Well, the World Health Organization, they came out with a report. And their report said the number one most used pesticide in the world, and especially in the United States, because we use it more than anybody. And why is that? Well, their headquarters is based here in the United States, and they make sure they take good care of our politicians. That's right. They want to make sure that our politicians are looking out for them just the same as they're looking out to keep those politicians in office. So that may have a little something to do with it. And what's very upsetting is that their companies like Monsanto use their power to punish other countries. They say, "Oh, you're not going to buy my GMOs? You don't want my GMOs?" Well, we're going to go talk to our politician friends and make sure that you guys don't get any help from the United States. And they've been doing that in places like San Salvador, Guatemala. And this is a real thing. There's countries in Europe that are being punished for this. And it's all because they won't play ball with Monsanto. Now, why are they bullying them? Well, because they can, for one thing. And they know that if they start losing this market share, that what's happening right now is going to continue to happen. And that is their stocks going down. They're having to lay off thousands of people. And they know that people are starting to get wise. They just lost a huge $93 million lawsuit because they lied and they said chemicals that they were using were safe. Now, I think that we got to be able to figure out that if they lied about that, then there's a good chance that they could still be lying to us. Well, the World Health Organization said glyphosate in the Roundup, which Roundup doesn't just have glyphosate. That's the active ingredient. They have a lot of other chemicals in there that could be even more toxic, but they don't even have to tell us what they are. That's what's super scary. Okay, so they said Roundup that you could be spraying around your house. And I just have to recommend that if you have a bottle of Roundup sitting in your house, get rid of it. Take it down when the city does like a toxic chemical collection that they safely dispose of it. Just get rid of that Roundup. You don't need it around your house. You have weeds, you want to kill them. Take some vinegar on a hot day and pour that on them. Or why don't you just pull them up? There's lots of great tools that you can buy down at the home improvement store that help you get rid of weeds really easily. So maybe a little labor getting out there, getting rid of the weeds might actually burn some calories too. And from what I've seen, there's a good percentage of the population that could stand to burn a few calories. Now, I want to go over some other reasons on why you need to be getting rid of that Roundup. But I want to go over a few other things that are right here on my homepage because I want you to come and visit smarthealthtalk.com. Not only that, but I want you to be joining us on social media because we're posting all kinds of things and you have to decide, do you want to be a smart shopper? Do you want to be able to do a good job of taking care of your family and protecting them from these lies that are being told to us, from the trickery that is being used? Now, I'm going to give you just one quick example here, because I'm going to start highlighting some of these commercials that I see on television. And I want you to see through what they're trying to do with the way they present the commercial to you. Okay, now I saw a Yoplait commercial. And what was that commercial about? Okay, well, we've got some average looking guy standing out in the middle of a field that's covered in grass, a nice green pasture kind of out there, and you don't really see anything else around, no other buildings, nothing like that, except one cow. One cow in the middle of that grass field. Now, over here in California, and I'm sure in many other states too, when we drive by some of those farms where they got lots of cows, I don't see any cows standing out in a green field. The only place that I've ever seen that was at Organic Pastures Raw Milk Dairy, because their cows actually eat grass. But I tell you, most of the cows out there, especially dairy cows, they're not eating grass, unless they're maybe one of the Organic Valley dairy farmers, because they sell grass-fed dairy products. But Yoplait, which was in the hand of this guy that was standing in the middle of a field, he had a container of Yoplait yogurt with a straw sticking out of it, and he starts talking to that cow. And he says, "Oh, cow, you probably don't understand this, but I just want to tell you, your yogurt is really good." And then they put up a sign and they say, "Oh, we're not using any growth hormones in our product." "Oh, well, thank you so much, Yoplait. We know that you've been using them all those years before that, but now you decided you're not going to use it." Now, was that out of the goodness of your heart? Or was that because people said, "We don't want that, and we're not going to buy your product if you put it in there"? But the thing is, they give the impression that their yogurt is from a cow that's eating grass. And let me tell you, if that yogurt really was from a cow that was grass-fed, they would be putting that on the container, because that is a huge selling point. And if they want to market their product and sell more, put grass-fed on there, because that means more omega-3s. That means they're not eating GMO feed or cottonseed feed, which has even more pesticides in it. I'm telling you, this, that to me is trickery. That to me is trying to trick the customer into thinking they're getting more than they really are. They want you to think that their yogurt is made from a cow that's out in a field full of grass, eating grass, when it's not. And it still has pesticides in it, and it still has GMOs in it, and who knows what all. So, they left one thing out. Thank you so very much. So I want you to kind of look a little bit closer at some of these things, because we don't realize they really are influencing our decisions at the point of purchase, which is the most important place. And if you're not looking a little bit harder and doing some critical thinking there and not just believing everything you're seeing, then when you go to the store, you're just going to grab stuff. You need to think about it ahead of time. So I want you to start thinking about that a little bit more. Now, I have our interview with the American Cancer Society, because the World Health Organization came out and they said, Roundup is cancer causing. So I kind of wanted to know, one of the biggest organizations against cancer, like, what do they think? Well, we had Dr. Kenneth Portier, something like that. I don't know French very good, but I know he's like from Atlanta, Georgia, and that's like over in one of the American Cancer Society headquarters, and he's one of their head statisticians and one of their top scientists. And he I want you to listen to the interview, but he agreed that the World Health Organization had a very strong basis for what they were saying when they said glyphosate is cancer causing. So that made me feel pretty good that I actually got them to say, okay, yeah, that's probably true. And he actually did a little bit more research getting ready for our interview. So that made me feel good too. I'm hoping that he's going to come back and help us with some New Year's resolutions, because he has some really great recommendations that everybody should be doing if you want to prevent cancer. And I have to say that I agree with him on those recommendations 100%. Now, what else do we have on our homepage here? Oh my gosh. I put my creative hat on and I came up with some oatmeal cookies that were out of this world. Oh my gosh. Now, I like to eat seasonal fruit, and when you eat seasonal fruit, you know that it probably isn't coming from some other country. You know that it probably has not been in storage for months and months and months, because they will keep. They know how to do this stuff. They got apples in there for, why do you think you're getting apples when it's not apple season? Because they put them in a refrigerator under a controlled temperature. And that's how they're able to keep these things in storage for a long time. I prefer to eat things in season that are freshly picked, and I go buy them mostly at the farmer's market, or they come out of my garden. Well, pomegranates are in season right now. Persimmons are in season right now. And we know pomegranates are full of antioxidants, which are cancer preventing. And pomegranates, they're like such a beautiful orange color, and that orange means vitamin A, and that's great for your immune system. It's great for keeping you healthy when flu season's happening. Plus they taste really good. And there's two different kinds. There's one that get really soft, and I actually have a recipe on under news, under our organic recipe blog. Just type in Smart Health Talk recipe blog and you will find it. And I have a great recipe for the soft persimmons, and then I have this recipe for the oatmeal cookies that have the hard persimmons in there. But I also put some pomegranate seeds in there, and we put some currants, we put some walnuts, and they're all organic. And I show you what products I used. It was a super easy recipe, and I even used Nutiva organic coconut shortening, which is kind of an exciting product, because shortening, especially the conventional kind, we're talking GMO, okay? But this is organic, and coconut oil is great for your brain. It's great for your heart. It's good for your immune system. So if you can fit some coconut oil, and this shortening has coconut oil, and Nutiva is a great company. The owner has donated millions of dollars to try to help us be able to know what's in our food and identify GMOs and get that on the label, because we've been fighting for that. But of course, the federal government with HR 1599 that they're trying to pass right now will make all state laws null and void. No states will be able to pass any GMO labeling law. And they're trying to do it where they're going to label it with like a barcode. Label GMOs with a barcode. Like, how great is that for consumers, right? How are we supposed to know if there's GMOs in there from a barcode? But see what I mean about trickery and trying to manipulate us into buying products that aren't good for us? Well, that's like another move, and I guarantee that idea was whispered in someone's ear by Monsanto. And I tell you, we cannot trust all of these agencies that are supposed to be watching out for us, like the USDA and the EPA. And I'm going to tell you why in just a minute here. But other people, these nonprofits that are out there fighting for us, we definitely can trust them. Now, one of the stories that I thought was really great is over in, it's Molokai. That's one of the islands over in Hawaii. I have the video right on our homepage, and Pesticides in Paradise. And I tell you, those people are going through some unbelievable pesticide exposure over there. Well, the Center for Food Safety, the director over there, she was trying to give a presentation. And she wanted to give a presentation on this Pesticides in Paradise report. And so 100 Monsanto workers showed up at this presentation. 100 of them wearing neon yellow shirts. Well, after she got into this presentation and started, reporting about the reality of what the heck was going on there and how the workers that are working over there that had those yellow shirts on, because there were executives and there were workers there. Executives from Monsanto, and then there were workers. Well, after she started laying out this presentation, those executives started squirming in their seat, and I think they were having second thoughts about wondering what, about bringing the workers there, that, maybe that wasn't such a good idea. And Dr. Ashley Lukens, who is the director who was giving the presentation, they came up to her after the presentation. And, well, first of all, some of the things she was reporting were these workers that were sitting there in the audience, 100 Monsanto workers in this, room, just like, they all come lining in. And so she was trying to tell them that what's happening here, the exposure that you are being subjected to, along with other people that live in this area, we're talking developmental delays in our children. We're talking about higher cancer rates in the agricultural workers. And that's them. She was talking about them. You'd think they weren't sitting there going, hey, that's me. She's talking about me. Okay, well, afterwards they came up to her and she said, one of the Monsanto people say to her, well, I hope you remember next time that you come to Molokai what our community thinks of your work and where we stand. This is like, the type of threats that they like to try to scare people away, that they'll think twice about coming back. Oh, we have 100 of our people come down here to intimidate you. And you better just remember the next time you try to come over here on just how we stand. Well, I tell you, Dr. Luken, she had a really good comeback. And she replied to those people and she said that she understands that what we're sharing with you guys today is not popular. And these conversations are hard. And we're not here because we think that what we're doing is popular. We're here because we think what we're doing is right. That it's a right for these people to know the risks to their health, the risk to their children and family. They have a right to know this, just like we have a right to know what is in our food and if these pesticides are really toxic. Because we have the World Health Organization that is looking out for the world, telling us this stuff is cancer causing, and we have the COO of Monsanto coming out with statements saying, oh, this is perfectly safe. And I worry about my children too. Oh yeah, I guess so. So then Dr. Luken added, protection of families and workers, greater pesticide regulations and disclosure, buffer zones so that they're not spraying pesticides that are experimental right across the street from our schools, that is reasonable. And this is what I loved. I just absolutely love this. Standing up and speaking out is important and will assure the health and safety of our communities for generations to come. And we can all learn from her words. We have to stand up and fight. We cannot just sit around and be manipulated and be yes people like little robots and do everything we're told. We have to look past what we're seeing. We have to start questioning what we're being told. Okay, I hope I got through to you there. Okay. Now, please watch our video on our homepage about all the plastic in the ocean. I mean, it is like heartbreaking how some of these animals in the ocean are dying. They're getting stuck in plastic. We're dumping all this trash and all this plastic in the ocean, and whales and fish and turtles and all these marine animals are getting trapped in this plastic and dying a slow and painful death. And we can do something about it. And we have lots of great ideas in that video. And you can see the turtle all caught in the plastic right there on our homepage. And take a look at the Seralini study, because that shows what happens when you feed mice Roundup glyphosate for 2 years, because Monsanto feeds it for 3 months. And when Seralini, the researcher, fed it for 3 months, he didn't see any problems either. It didn't start showing up until later on. So how can we trust studies that are only done for 3 months? We don't just eat this stuff for 3 months. We eat it day in and day out. Okay, I also have on there on our homepage WebMD. How many people have used WebMD? You know, we go there, we try to find out our symptoms, maybe, you know, what's wrong with us. We look up different health-related questions and topics. Well, I tell you, those people have sold their soul to Monsanto. That's what they did. That's right. And I could not believe it when I went to that website. They had an entire page. They are just Monsanto glyphosate pushers. To me, they're no better than some drug dealer on the corner. They're worse. They're actually worse. Yes, I just could not believe some of the stuff that was on that WebMD. They had a whole friggin' page, nothing about how great Monsanto is and how safe it is. This is what I'm saying. This is supposed to be a trusted search engine. WebMD, oh, we should trust everything that's on there. If they're saying Monsanto is a good company and their products are safe, then we should believe them. No, you do not have to believe that. They even went so far as to say that that they are doing, you know, things to help bees to thrive, when in fact they have been responsible for millions and millions and millions and millions of bee deaths all over the world. You spray these pesticides, if there's a bee in the area, it's probably going to die. Okay? So how dare they can say that on that webpage? And I have a link to all that right on my website. Don't trust me. Don't trust what I say. You go check this stuff out for yourself. I don't want people to just take what I tell them. I want them to go find out for themselves. And you want to get rid of that Roundup, and you want to find different things to be doing to keep your yard nice and safe and looking good? Well, click our link, Pesticide Free Lawns, because we have some great information on that page right there to give you ideas on how to get rid of the Roundup and start using some other things to that can help help you get rid of your weeds and keep everything, you know, looking good. Okay, so we have Some other stories there too. America's Recycles Day is coming up, and we're a big supporter of recycling. I hope you try and recycle all the time. Check all that out there. Okay, I want to get to some of the other stories. Oh, we got some other guests lined up that are going to come and visit us on the show here. That I was telling you about Dr. Ashley Lukens, who was doing the presentation, Poison Pesticides in Paradise. She's going to be coming on the show and telling us just what that was like to have 100 Monsantos walk into her presentation. Okay. Dr. Stephanie Seneff from MIT. She's one of our most brilliant scientists. She knows how to take the statistics and analyze them in a way that we're getting results we can trust. There are many different scientific studies that they are analyzed in a way that works to their benefit and is not necessarily using a good scientific method. It is to their benefit. So they can come up with numbers, and just how they present the numbers, it makes them look good, and it's not a good report. So you have to not necessarily trust all that you have to hear about, oh, pesticides are good and we don't need organic. GMOs are good. No, I'm not believing that for a second. I'm sorry. Okay, we're going to have another great guest coming on our show. I just talked to him today, and Dr. Stephen Drucker, Altered Genes, Twisted Truth is his book that's coming out. I needed some time to kind of read it myself. I've got some people that I really respect, like Dr. Seneff, said it was a good book. And I really happen to believe that we are changing our genes. Because I read one article that those little kids that get the big giant stomachs called kwashiorkor, which they're malnourished. You see them like in Africa with these giant stomachs. Well, guess what they're eating? Practically all they're eating is GMO corn. And they've actually taken their gut bacteria and implanted it into another living thing, another person. I don't know if it was a person or an animal, but what happened was whatever they implant, wherever they implanted it, they had the same disease that they had. So that means we're changing our genes. And think about how many people they're having trouble even having babies. And, I just really wonder about some of these things when I read about horrible pesticides like atrazine, which is our second most used pesticide. How Dr. Tyrone Hayes researches them, and the frogs that he tests it on, they start turning from males to females. They don't even care about females anymore. And it's like you kind of wonder, if I'm, you got people drinking a lot of wine, a lot full of atrazine, maybe eating a lot of corn products. How is that changing them? Because we know that we have seen changes. We've seen changes with GMOs, with Dr. Judy Carman and Howard Biegler's research. The pigs couldn't get through the maze as quickly. They didn't care about stuff. They were angry. They fought. They were listless. Those on the GMO diet, the other pigs didn't act like that, the control pigs. So we know that these things are changing us. They're changing our genes. So, again, we're being tricked into eating these foods when we could have organic food that doesn't even do any of that. Now, I was really excited to hear about this. Now, this is a perfect example on how we cannot even trust our government. People are just going around, oh, well, the government says it's safe. Oh, so you think the government is watching out for you? No. What just happened? Okay, well, the USDA, they wanted to okay, let me start over again. Now, I get pretty angry when I hear people try to say that the USDA certified organic seal on a product is not something you can trust. People fought long and hard to make that seal happen. It took 7 years, and there are all the time they are having meetings. They just had a meeting this past week for the National Organic Standards Board and trying to decide, if products that used to not be available as organic are now readily available. So we have to even make stricter standards. So people cannot use the conventional form. They have to use organic. And if it says it's USDA certified organic, 95% of the ingredients at least have to be organic. If it says 100%, then 100% of it is, but it can only say 100% if it's 100% organic. Okay, so at least 95%. And people try to, oh, well, I can't even trust any of the ingredients in there. Oh, yes, you can. And those standards are very, very strict. But the USDA, that is all the time allowing pesticides that are some of the worst pesticides of all, some of the most toxic pesticides of all. They're allowing them to be used in our environment, used on our food, killing our bees, killing our butterflies, killing all the good guys along with the bad, when we have other ways of doing things that are better in so many different ways. Healthier food, cleaner food, free of poisons, soil that's healthier, less water needed, and yields that are just as high. Do not believe that we need GMOs to feed the world. That is not true. So just get that out of your head and stop believing it. Okay, so what was the USDA up to this time? Oh, well, they decided they were going to allow compost that was contaminated with pesticides to be allowed in organic agriculture. So in other words, they are trying to sabotage organic standards by allowing this pesticide-laden compost to be used with synthetic whatever in there, and who knows. And people go and buy like that Kcaa brand compost over at the home improvement store and it says organic on it, and they think that that stuff's organic. No, that is sewage sludge. And they are allowed to put organic on that package when it's actually sewage sludge. So do not, see what I mean? They trick you. You think you're doing a good thing. And there can be heavy metals in there and who knows what all. Well, a judge said, we had our good guys over there who we've interviewed on our show, like Beyond Pesticides, the Center for Food Safety, which Dr. Lukens is a part of, that I mentioned, was given the presentation in Malachi. And they have a lawyer that was suing the USDA for trying to do that. And guess who won? Our good guys, that's right. And the USDA did not get away with it, and they stopped him from doing that. There was also a big court case up in Canada where the farmers wanted to be able to use all these seeds that are killing bees, killing butterflies, and all the good guys along with them. And it's seeds coated with it's nicotine derived pesticide, okay? And it's very toxic. And the government said, you're not going to get to just do whatever the heck you want on that land. You are affecting our pollinators, you're affecting all kinds of crops, and we're not going to allow you to do that. So right on, Judge. I am so glad that Canada made that decision. And they said at least half of your seeds has to be not coated with these pesticides. So I was really glad to hear about that court case as well. Okay, now what else is going on? Oh, I love this story. This girl who just wanted to play soccer, and her mom and her are both very well educated on what's going on with farm salmon. Now, Oceana, who we're going to have as a guest on our show, did a big study on farm salmon versus wild salmon. Is it really wild salmon when they tell you it's wild salmon? And I can't wait to bring that report to you, but I'm going to wait until we have Dr. Warner from Oceana on our show to help give that information. But what I do want to talk about is Frida Reed and her mom, Anessa Reed. And their soccer team was being sponsored by Marine Harvest. Now, if you go to our website and you look under Howard Beagler Ma'am Interview tab, and just there's a lot more things underneath that tab, including Dr. Alex Morton and information about virus-infected farm salmon. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Not only are they infected with all kinds of viruses, and that is what is being sold in the store, virus-infected sick salmon to consumers, because Dr. Morton did tests and took samples and sent them to the #1 lab in the world, and it was confirmed. But they put pesticides in there. They feed them GMO feed. They feed them dye so they'll look pink. And you can tell the difference. I have information on our website that links to all these different places. Like farm salmon looks different than wild salmon, okay, for one thing. But this girl and her mom, she just wanted to play soccer, but their team was being sponsored by Marine Harvest, which is a multi-billion-dollar company that's left dead zones all over the world, killed entire rivers of all life, and just left these huge dead zones because they're putting pesticide in the water. The fish are in pens. They have lice in there. They're pooping in there and living in it, and it's just disgusting. And it's breeding these viruses that they can't get rid of now. They can't grow farm salmon without these viruses, like in British Columbia. So this girl stood up and she says, I will not wear a shirt that has their logo on it. I will not support this company. Just like I said no to the American Dietetic Association. You cannot associate me with Unilever. I do not support that corporation. I will not be a part of this organization. She stood up and said no. And so they kicked her out of the team. Yeah. They said, if you're going to stand up and say you're not going to wear a shirt with our sponsor's logo on it, you're out. Well, she was devastated, but a bunch of fishermen, the fishermen of wild salmon and other fishermen groups, came out in support of her. They said they're going to start a trust fund for her so she can go to college. And it was all over the news. Well, I talked to her mom today, and her life is now a living hell. She has people coming and, telling her that she has ruined the team. She's ruined families, this is Marine Harvest speaking. This is not, other people, but they have been manipulated into thinking that she did something bad when actually she's a hero. This is the kind of kids that we want to raise. Kids that don't just accept things, that are willing to stand up for what they believe in. And yet she's going to be punished, and now they're going to have to move away. So I want you to go and check out that story as well. That is on. I'm actually getting ready to put a post on that. You probably heard bacon. Bacon's in the news. This nitrate thing, I knew that from like way back. I have not been eating that nitrate-laden bacon. Well, it's not just nitrate-laden, but it's factory farm, GMO, antibiotic, all this other stuff in there. It's finally like coming out in the news now. Well, you should be buying organic, okay? I'll just tell you that. But some other research is it's the combination of different things here, the combination of these toxins and pesticides that we know so little about, that we do know when you take and mix like glyphosate-laden tortilla chips and you mix that with the nitrates in the bacon, now you got super, super toxin, okay? We know, and that's just one we know of, okay? I'm sure there's way more. So that's another reason why to not even buy that stuff. And I was reading an article too, because I had talked to Dr. Michael Hansen from Consumers Union, who was working on a paper when I talked to him a couple of weeks ago to submit to the legislator on this whole Trans-Pacific Partnership thing, because And he was saying, you know, I'm submitting this paper to say that these oils, like the canola oil, actually has DNA in it from the GMOs. And I thought, well, why is that important? Well, I just read an article and it said that the manufacturers say that there is none in there. They claim that when you process that into canola oil, that somehow the DNA miraculously disappears. Well, apparently not so, because Dr. Hansen was working on a paper that said, no, it's still there, okay? And now I understand the significance of what he was doing, because the manufacturers claim, oh, it's not there, it's gone. Well, it's not gone. That GMO DNA is still in the oil. Now, why do you even want that? It can go in and make your own gut bacteria start to make pesticides in your body. I say, don't even eat it. So, okay, that was another thing I wanted to tell you guys. And Tyson chicken, they just cut 75,000 jobs. And that's because they're sending their chicken to China to be processed. They're not processing it here. It's so much cheaper for them to ship it over to China and process it there and then ship it back over here. They got rid of 75,000 jobs. You know, I say screw Tyson. I don't need your friggin' chicken. I got other choices. I found really good chicken over at Trader Joe's. That's just fine with me. Organic chicken. I pay a little bit more, but guess what? I don't have to buy friggin' Tyson, antibiotics, arsenic, GMOs when I make that choice. And that feels good and it tastes good. Okay? And Kellogg's, they are huge users of palm oil. They're just destroying Indonesia just to grow their friggin' palm oil trees, getting rid of habitats for all kinds of wildlife. Forget Kellogg's, forget Tyson. You know, we don't have to support these companies. And I'm really hoping that you're going to start thinking twice about what products that you're buying. All right, so hey, are you guys liking? Are you guys feel a little bit smarter after you stick around? I hope for the whole show. And I hope you're feeling empowered now, and I hope you're feeling smarter from all of the information that we shared with you today. Because this is what we're talking about. You don't have to just take everything. You can become an educated person and really see the truth, and it's not that bad. We can all do something about it. Now, I hope you're going to go find Smart Health Talk. You're going to go find our website. You're going to go find us on social media. We're on Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, Google+. Please go and find us on Google+. We're going to start putting up all of our broadcasts. We now have had a little technical upgrade, and we're going to be bringing all that stuff to you, putting it on YouTube and Google+, all of our past broadcasts with some of the top scientists in the country, and start listening to those broadcasts. And you will be surprised on just how your life will start to change, and your body too. You're going to start to feel good and look good, and that's what we're all about. Well, I'm Elaine McFadden. I'm your host. I'm a registered dietitian with a master's in public health, and I care about you, and I want to look out for you. And I hope that you're going to tune in again next Tuesday at 7 o'clock for our next episode. We're going to have a really exciting guest for you, I promise. All right, thanks so much for joining us, and take care, and buy organic, please.
My newfound hippie side once ignored these conspiracies online. Out the window, visions of the earth. Sign me up now, make sure you use your smart.
This is 1050 AM KCAA Loma Linda and 106.5 FM Yucaipa.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Joe Biggs here with Infowars.com. Now, hunting season starts next weekend, and I wanted to kick off my outdoor experience by sending a message to ISIS. See this? This is your stupid flag. This flag represents killing Christians, beheading people, murdering women and children. For what? For something stupid. And yet we sit back, we've created them, we've helped fund them, but yet we do nothing to stop them. And hundreds of thousands of people get killed because this should also just say CIA in it, because that's all it is. Well, this is a message to the CIA, this is a message to ISIS, this is a message to all those people out there who want to go and do harm. This is America. This is what we think about your flag. This is what we think about all of this. So for months now, ISIS has been threatening to come here on American soil in mass numbers and do lone wolf attacks, small little groups here and there, and start taking out American citizens. American citizens that have nothing to do with the wars going on overseas. American citizens that are just pretty much asleep to what's really going on in the world. So I take offense to that. This is my country. Don't think you could